Hello, thanks for joining me. I'm in the workshop today and I have here the carburettors of a Honda 250 Super Dream. I think it's a early 80s model, possibly a late 70s model. A friend of mine, Alan, is restoring it. He tells me that the bike has been stood without being started for 18 years, I think it was. And so I said that I would service the carburettors for him, or at the very least run them through my ultrasonic cleaner just to make sure they are okay. So I thought it might make an interesting video just to have a look at these carburetors. So I've got a couple of choices. One is I can sort of strip the whole lot down into all the parts and put it in the ultrasonic cleaner like that. But as far as I'm aware, you know, when the bike last ran, it was fine, and so, you know, balancing the carbs, everything, you know, I don't want to disturb that. So I actually have a small ultrasonic cleaner tank and a large one. I'm going to take them apart without undoing the coupling, if I can, so that when I put it all back together again, all the settings are exactly the same. But we'll see how we get on with this. At the very least, I'm going to take the float balls off, then we can have access to the balls and the jets and everything, and I'll take the diaphragms out of the top. So just see how we get on with this. I don't think there's anything wrong with the carburetors. It's just they've just been stuck for a while. I've got a little tray here just to put my screws in, what have you, so I don't lose things. Just any bits like there's these. I don't really want to put things like these rubber seals in the ultrasonic cleaner in case the heat damages them. So any parts like that, I'm going to just take off and just clean up appropriately one side. Right, let's have a look with this. Okay, well, actually all looks very nice and clean inside, does that. So we've got the spring there, and take the slide out. Yeah, so I'm not sure what that is on there. I can smell something on there. There's some wetness. I don't know. Maybe he's been putting some carb cleaner, or maybe it's just fuel. Maybe it's just fuel that's gone off a little bit. But that all looks good to me. There's no excessive wear on the needle or anything. Just give that a little wipe. Okay. Continue to take it apart. I mean, I'm going to take it apart just the absolute minimum that I need to be able to get the ultrasonic cleaner fluid through all the passageways and what have you. I might be able to get this in my small tank, it being just a bank of 2. We'll see. Might be sensible to have another tray. As I have no shortage of trays. Again, you might be able to see on there, but there's quite a lot of dirt on that needle. So there's probably gunk, what have you, in the system. It'll definitely benefit from having a clean through, will that? Definitely. Right, let's take the balls off. Oh, yeah, there's just a little bit of fuel in there. Must be some left in the balls. It doesn't smell good at all, I have to say. Does not smell good. very light tap with a mallet just to get it loose. See, there is a diaphragm on there that's sticking. Just going to ease that off with a flat-headed screwdriver. Find something suitable. All I'm doing is quite literally just peeling it off where it's stuck. I think that's going to need replacing. Yeah, it looks like it's perished, does that? Don't know if you can see, but I'll try and save it just in case, I'll peel it off very gently. Yeah, I need to get a pick just to ease that off. And you know, I really ought to be wearing a pair of gloves doing this, getting all this stuff on my hands, so I'm going to put some gloves on. I've just put some gloves on because there wasn't a lot of petrol in there, but there is, well, I assume it's old petrol and a dead spider there. Yeah, so I admit I'm pretty bad at that. I should wear gloves more often, but I don't want to get all that stuff over my hands, so just wash my hands, put some gloves on. So you can see, if you have a look in the bottom of the float bowl there, if it focus, you can see there's a lot of dirt and stuff in there. So I'm just going to gently ease this gasket off, but I think really if I can get a new one, you ought to replace all of these. But I don't know how much service kit will be, or if they're available. I assume you can still get them for these bikes. It's not in good shape, isn't this gasket at all? Just rather than ripping it off, I'm trying to ease it off gently, just in case I do have to try and reuse it. But honestly, I don't want to have to reuse this. It's a mess. You know, I really like doing jobs like this, because it's jobs like this where patience is so important. And you know, when you're not on the clock in terms of hourly rates and stuff, you know, when you're just doing it for yourself, or in this case doing it for a friend, you can just you can be patient. And well, of course everybody's patient, but you're not worrying about the cost of it in terms of time. Right, so that can go in. That can go into the cleaner as is. I'm just looking if there's any differences between the left. Just looking to see if there's any differences between the left and right bowl. There don't appear to be. I take that screw out, and then the cleaning fluid can get in there. Again, we have a little O-ring seal on there that's a bit of a mess, that could do with replacing as well. Yeah. I think, I'm not sure if that's just bits of the O-ring or grease or dirt or cleaner, might be cleaner, I don't know. Anyway, that should all come up inside of the ultrasonic cleaner. Right, see if we can push pin out and lift the make up there. Just a bit of wiggling. Right, be careful with that. And you can see again, I see no damage at all there, so that looks fine to me. Not sure if this green stuff is fuel or cleaner or what, but I'll get it all out anyway. Right, and so, oh gosh, there's so much dirt and stuff around those. Yeah, we'll get those jets undone and take those out as well. Better screwdriver. Seven millimeter. Yeah, that's definitely going to feel better after a clean up. Definitely. Right, let's just check this screw here. So just screw it in first so I can make a note of the setting. So half a turn, 1 turn, 1.5, exactly 2 turns for that one. I'll do this one whilst I'm on with it as well, do the one on this side as well. So half a turn, 1 turn, 1.5 turns, 2, yeah, that's exactly 2 turns as well. So I know both of those were exactly 2 turns out, so take those out as well. Okay, again, looks fine to me, just very dirty. Great. So just catching all of this fluid that comes out. Some more tissues. Some there. Right, let's take this second bowl off then. come on. Come on. Okay. Again, that one just needs a slight tap to loosen it up. Well and truly stuck on. There we go. Same thing with that rubber gasket. Right, so I need to carefully peel that off the same way as did with the one, exactly the same we've got in there. As you can see, it's very dirty inside. So take this screw out of the bottom, drain screw, and then it's well worn. It's that screw head that's been in and out a few times. Oh my god. Absolutely full of gunk, yeah. Oh, these are going to be much happier when they've been cleaned up. Right, let's get the float off. Yeah, it's stuck. So that needle valve is stuck. Just needs easing out. Gosh. Well and truly stuck in place is that. Just want to be very gentle with it. Just to ease it out. That's it. That's got it. Again, just having a look at that needle valve. It actually looks fine to me. I think it's all just suffering from being gunked up with, you know, remnants of fuel. So the floats are fine. So again, if I just remove the jets from this side, I've already tested that. That was 2 turns. This one was 2 turns out. The air screw. So take that right out. Again, the needle looks fine to me. I'll have a look at them under a magnifying glass later. Oh, yeah. You probably can't see. I mean, I don't know. Just look at all the dirt on there. I don't know if you can see that. Just, oh, really gunked up. Right, it's very satisfying when you take carburetors apart like when they're like this, because you feel like you're doing some worthwhile work when you're cleaning them up. Right, I'm going to take those manifolds off, and then I think the rest of the assembly can go in like that. So I've taken the carburetor apart, so the balls and the slicer, everything I put in there once. I'll put the bodies in one go. They just fit in here, and then all the small parts and what have you, the jets and the brass parts and what have you, I'll do last. So we're just about up to temperature here. So put this on for 15 minutes to start with, and we'll just see how we get on with that. And look at the business end, you can see the bubbles coming up, what have you there. Leave that to get on with its job. Right, these are coming up really nicely. Those needles have beautiful. That's all cleaned up wonderfully. So I've just rinsed the cleaning fluid. I've got a bowl of clean water here, rinsed cleaning fluid. I've just put that one side. I'm going to blow those off with my airline. The float bowls here, they come up beautifully on the outside. There's still a little bit of residue on the inside there. Again, if I come in closer, you'll see it's really stuck on hard. So I'm just using a soft nylon brush here just to help agitate that a little bit, and that's really helping lift it. So I'll just give that a bit of a brush off. Even if I just rinse that, you can see that that's now coming off there. So I'll just give that a bit more of an agitate on both the bowls, and then drop those back in for a little bit longer, just to see if we can get all of that. Yeah, that's coming off nicely. And clean round where they got a little toothbrush here as well. Just clean around where that gasket goes, make sure that's all clean. Toothbrush is perfect for this. Just got to make sure you put it back in the bathroom before anybody notices it's missing. Right, yeah, so I'll clean up both of these, give them a little bit longer, and then I'll put the next bit in. I'll give them those another sort of 10 minutes after brushing them, and you can see now that that's got all of that gunk out at the bottom that was stuck in before. So just agitating that slightly with the brush and then giving it another go, and that's cleaned up nicely. So I'll rinse those off and dry them off now. Got the main body of the carburetors in now, so not 100% submerged, but I flipped them over. I gave them about 10 minutes on that side, agitated it, flipped them over, and then about another 3 minutes left. Then I'll rinse them off in my bowl, blow them out with the airline. These are all of the parts of the carburetor now. They've all been cleaned in the ultrasonic cleaner. I've rinsed them all off. I've blown them all off with my airline, make sure that they are perfectly dry. So we're ready for reassembly. So just a couple of things for reassembly. We need new O-rings and gaskets. So Alan's supplied me here. This is off my friend Alan's bike. Supplied me here with this refurbishment kit, which there's obviously two because there's the two carburettors there. So we've got the new gaskets and O-rings, and I see that there is a new float needle on there as well. So I'll use the new one, seeing as we've got the new one there. I think the old ones are fine actually, but I'll use the new one. And the other thing is, I've been having a good look at the jets under my microscope. I've got a little magnifying glass here. It's quite a powerful one. So I've been having a look at the jets. So the main jets are 72s, and the secondary jets here are 105s. Now, you know what they should be. Don't know, because it's maybe been messed around with before, people setting them up. So I've seen a lot of different references for the sizes, but I've just made a note of those. So as I say, 72 for the main jet and 105 for the secondary. That's the needle jet. I've had a good look at them. They don't look too bad. I mean, just looking at them with this magnifying glass, they don't look too bad. But of course, if they are worn, that's always going to be a source of problem for the bike not running right. So I'll reassemble it with those jets, but we'll have to see then how Alan gets on, with getting the bike up and running again. If it's still running rough, then for the price, if it were my bike, for the price of jets, I would get some new jets in there. Okay, right, let's start putting it back together. So the float bowl drain plugs, they should have little O-rings on them. Let's see what we've got in here. That small one looks like the right size one to me. Just put these on here. Yeah, works. Then that goes into the back into the float bowl. That's the one. Open up the other kit. That's small. Right. These are the dead ones there. The old ones. They really are dead actually. They're just such a terrible state, just falling apart. Okay. So good, right. Fine. So I'm going to start by reassembling the body of the carburetor. So the first thing to do is this. Oh, you can see there, move some stuff around. So I'll get into the picture here. So we've got this side cover here, which has just got the holes drilled through. It's not doing anything other than just blocking off these holes. So that should have a washer in it. So let's have a look and see. There we are. So that's the one cover on. Now the inside one, which is quite difficult to see, but it goes inside here. Now those screw heads are difficult to access, so I'm using this, which is a little short angled screwdriver, got crosshead on one end and a flat on the other, and that just allows me to get into that rather tight space just to do those up. Do both sides down until they're snug and then just pinch them off. Going to start by reassembling the jets then from the carburetor, and then I'll put the mixture screws back in and then reassemble the floats, and then I can put the float bowl cover on. So we've got the main nozzles are still in there. I've not taken them out, so we need to put the main jets back in there. Well, I'll start off with these because it's easier. So this middle one, just there's a rubber bung goes in there, so that's easy enough. Then we've got the main jets with the nozzles. Now the main jets are the 72s on this, so I've got my 72s there. But I'm just going to double check by looking at that in my magnifying glass again. Read the number off the side. Yep, 72. So these two are the main jets. So that's the main jet there. Just screw that in gently. This one. and then the needle jet. So we've got the needle jet holders, and they go in here and here. And that has a hex on the top, so you can tighten it down with a spanner, 7mm hex. Just nip that up, and that one. And then the needle jets go in here, and these are the bigger ones. These are 105s, and these carburettors. Just pinch those up. Right, so that's all the jets back together. The mixture screws. So you've got the mixture screw. There's a spring goes on, and then there is a little washer goes on the end. So these are the new ones I've just got here, and that goes in down the hole here. And I'm going to set those exactly as they were set when they came out. So they were 2 turns out. So if I screw that all the way down, so it's just seated lightly, and then back it off 2 turns. So it's half a turn, 1 turn, 1.5, 2 turns. Whoops, 2 turns. Again with the other one, you've got the needle, the spring, and the little rubber washer goes on there. And just tighten that down till it seats, just lightly, and then back it off half a turn, 1 turn, 1.5, 2 turns. So that's set exactly as it was when I took the carburetor apart. Okay, so let's reassemble the float and the float valves. I've got some new valves, but interestingly they are different. So if I just show you, if you can see here, that's the old needle valve, this one here, and you can see it's got a little cap on the top, whereas this is the new one here, the shinier one, and that's got like a spring clip on the top. So I'll have to see if that new one will fit on the carburetor float assembly. There's the needle for the float, and here's the up ball. So that just slides under there like that. I don't think I'll be able to hold it in place. I turn it round, just stays in place, sits in there like that. So it's kind of secure, it's captured, it can't escape, but it's loose so that it can move freely in the hole. So get that lined up, get the needle just down the hole, and then get the whoops, a little pin through the hinge pin there, and then just check that that's moving okay. That's absolutely fine. So move on and do exactly the same with the second carburetor. So put the needle in there, put down the hole. Easy if you can get it in whilst keeping everything still engaged. There's a tendency to drop out. This is where a little poker helps, just to get stuff lined up. There we are, that's gone out. And get that pin through, and again just make sure that that's moving. Okay, right, so we're fine with those. Now we can put the float ball covers back on. I've got the new gaskets here to go on the float balls, but what I find is when you're reassembling carburetors like that, you just drop the gasket in there, it just sits in there. Then if you turn it over to fit it, it drops out like that. So it's easier to actually turn the carburetor over and bring it on, but even then it can move. So one thing which I do is I get just a little bit of rubber O-ring grease. This is the red Austral grease, just a tiny little bit on the finger there, and I just work that round the, just sort of dab it round the gasket, sort of key places around the gasket, and then that is just enough stickiness to hold it in place so it doesn't jump out of place then. So you can see you've got it in place there and it doesn't jump out of place. If I turn that upside down now, you see it stayed in place. Just holds it in there, and also it just helps lubricate the rubber a little bit as well, so it's useful as that. Okay, so pop the float balls back on. As I say, it's kind of easier to turn the carburetor over and sort of match it up that way so that you don't dislodge those gaskets. Put it in place like that. Just check that's still sitting in the right place. So there's the 3 screws that hold the bowl on. Because of course if that gasket jumps out of place, your float ball's going to leak. Again, just tighten these down gently, evenly, till I'm happy everything's seated all right. And just double check by looking round. Looks okay to me, so again I'll just go around and tighten that down. Okay, and then the second bowl here. So again, I've got the gasket in with just a little dab of gasket grease on there. Bring it round, mate it up, put it all in place. Then I can get the screws in there. So again, just a quick visual inspection to make sure that the gasket seems to be sitting evenly all the way around. As far as I can see it is. So again, I just go around that and tighten it up gently. So go down. Okay. Right, turn the carburetors over and we can start reassembling the top bit now. So when I'm reassembling the top end, the first thing to go in is this gasket. Now it's, I don't know if I can show you, if I can get closer, there's a lip on it on one side, so this side is just flat and on this side there is a lip. We need to put it in here lip side up, because when we put the cap on here, then you can see here there's a slight lip on the cap and that engages with that gasket. And then we've got the needle slide. There is a groove in that here which corresponds with a little notch there from the plastic tab that goes in there, and so pop that in, of course making sure that the needle goes down cleanly. Then we've got the spring and then the cap, and I actually don't think there is a right or wrong way for the cap, but obviously you want to get them aesthetically the right way around, I guess. So it goes this way, so this is the air filter side, that's the engine side with the writing facing, so if you were reading it from the rear. Okay, and then just making sure that that spring is engaged right. And what I do is I just put my finger in the end here, and I'm just working that slide just to make sure that it moves freely and it's returning on the spring. And you can probably hear that. I'll show you again once I've tightened it down. So then we've got the two screws that fasten the top down. Then okay, just nip those up. Fine, so that's the one side done. So repeat that with the second side. So it's gasket first, again just checking that with the lip side up. That goes in first. And then we've got the needle slide with the groove here. So again making sure that the needle goes down the hole, no problem. Somebody's disassembled this before because they've actually scratched on there left, and they've actually scratched left on the lid here as well, and back, so yeah, that way around, but you know, I just remembered anyway. So yeah, the spring, and get that in, make sure that's all engaged properly. Yeah, just get that lined up. And again, just make sure that the slide's moving freely. Get these screws in. And that essentially is the carburetor, or the carburettors I should say, in the plural, back together. So you can just pinch that down. Good. Fine. So there we are. So you can, if I turn it around that way, you can see the slides in there behind the choke. And again, just making sure that they both move properly. You know, the choke moves fine, and on this side we've got the throttle valve, and again that's turning fine. Right, so when I got it, when I got these carburetors from Alan, there was these manifolds were on there, so I'll stick those back on. Oh, and two little drain tubes on the bottom of the carburetor, just off the bottom of the carburetor bowl there, so I'll pop those back on before I give them back to Alan. But that is essentially the carburetors back together. So now I need to give them back to him and see if he can get the bike running. Oh, fingers crossed. So I hope you found that interesting. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Bye.